Hello and a very warm welcome to the Insider Essay, your guide to living better. Join us today as we open up to mindfulness with American YouTube star Mansa Mayne dining out on South African food, hip-hop and style. A Karoo house packs the power of our sun into these stone walls and goes blissfully off-grid. Faced with her son Sam's medical condition, Tessa Graham innovates a new line of toys to get all our kids back into the great outdoors. Backpacking entrepreneur Amy Kopman creates a glorious quirky Camp Canoe on a winelands lake. And Chef Zola Nene prepares a seasonal spinach and mushroom glory from her new cookbook and the nation's most famous food garden. Recent years have made our hospitality industry mindful of just how fragile tourism can be. After lockdown forced her business to close, one entrepreneur has bounced back ingeniously.
My name is Amy Kopman.
And my name is Tal, and welcome to Camp Canoe.
Camp Canoe is situated in the Cape Winelands. It's a new take on luxury glamping on the foothills of the Simmonsburg Mountain. The idea of Camp Canoe was born as we came out to stay on Boshendal Farm during COVID. We loved this experience of our kids and us growing up on a farm so much, we decided we needed to stay and decided we needed to create a space for people to enjoy here.
At Camp Canoe, we're offering a beautiful place with a dam that you can canoe on and hammocks that you can just lie and read a book. We've got a lot of trails and bike tracks to go on and disconnect from everything.
The couple believe that wine farms like the one their camp sits on should be more accessible to our local travelers.
We have been involved in hospitality for a very long time. When Tal and I met in India, we were almost traveling around collecting ideas of how to make the perfect establishment. Came home, started the Big Backpackers, which was one of Cape Town's first fancy boutique backpackers, trying to kind of figure out what travelers want, providing that space for them, and then carried it on to Camp Canoe.
They were after an offbeat visual style like film director Wes Anderson has created in films from The Royal Tenenbaums to The Life Aquatic.
There is no secret what we were going for. We are stepping into Wes Anderson's movie set playground backyard, and we've tried to bring that through in every design detail, and we've felt that we've created a quirky and luxurious experience at once.
The couple found their ideal designers in Megan Bond and Rotem Shachar, whose work is as story-driven as that of any feature film set designer.
We are Mr.
M is for Megan.
and R is for Rotem, and we're a design studio based in Cape Town. So we knew Amy personally, and Amy was aware of the work we do. She knew that we like to get involved with the branding of a place, and that means getting involved with the naming and forming a bigger story around something. So when she knew she wanted to make these tented camp, but she wanted it to have a bigger story, she approached us and basically said, well, let's create a camp. What are we going to do? And it was pretty much an open brief from there.
The meticulous styling is never at the expense of simple pleasures. A case in point, each tent boasts a deck with its own wood-fired hot tub.
Our strength lies in concept. We find concept is key to everything we do. It leads our direction and the brand, and from name generation throughout creating the story.
So I think when we saw the tents, and you see these 7 tents, and the first feeling is like very militant. And then the next thing was like, but you know what's kind of cool is Scouts. Almost impossible to start thinking of the world of Scout without a nod to Wes Anderson and Moonrise Kingdom. So a lot of the Scout elements and Scout language developed from really looking at the tent and wanting to cover it with Scout badges.
We had 2 different color schemes going on here. So the one tent is very much your pinks, your reds, light blues, and the other scheme we went a little bit more olive green with a punch of yellow, mustard. But yeah, 2 very different schemes with a Wes twist.
For all the worlds which Mr. Anderson creates in his movies, he never had the wild drama of the Simmonsburg Mountains and bush as a setting.
You don't expect to walk into a tent and for the materiality of the tent material to be so changed or so surprisingly not a tent inside.
It's quite playful, but it still comes across with luxury and comfort. It's almost like a compact little tiny home. It's got everything going for it.
Growing up in a small town in Northwest, Amy's family always brought people into their home, and she continues their legacy.
House Canoe is our hub tent. It's at the heart of Camp Canoe. We use it for coming together. So generally, if you book out the tents as a group, you would use House Canoe to come together and be communal. We also use House Canoe for events and eventing in different types of spaces. We've used it for retreats, corporate retreats or yoga retreats, but in essence, it's the heart and the hub of Camp Canoe. Tonight is the launch of our dinner club. So we're hosting a beautiful dinner with still camping kind of theme behind it. So it's camping food with grandeur. And so we're hosting people from the area or people who've come to stay over. And we're just going to come together and eat delicious food around a campfire.
Preparing the 3-course menu over a campfire was a challenge which creative chef Johnny Hamman rose to with a smile.
So for tonight's event, so it was quite a struggle when Amy first contacted me, like, what do I actually cook? And then I thought, why don't I just do camping food with a little twist? And then what do you do for camping food? The first thing that comes to mind is cowboy food, baked beans and tins. So we're doing a modern version of tin food. Most beautiful, there's everything from calamari to mussels, beautifully smoked in tins. That they normally serve just with freshly chopped parsley and the most exquisite sourdough bread from the winelands. And that's just followed by proper braai vleis and oopsies and skarpstertjies prepared on the fire. And then we're just going to do s'mores, but we're doing gourmet style. So we made our own marshmallows, and everybody's going to have their own little braai, Japanese kabashi braais on the table. And we're going to wrap the braais with the Kumbaya songs lyrics, right? And then they can grill their own marshmallows and make their own s'mores at the table, and that's about it.
It was a full house as bookings were snapped up by locals keen to put their winter hibernation firmly behind them.
It sort of popped up on Instagram and I looked at it and I thought, this is too good to be true. And here it is, and it's absolutely amazing. I love the decor and everything, and we came for a quick dinner, but now we're staying over and it's fantastic.
It is so festive. I can't get over how everybody is just connecting. They're just talking and talking as if, they've just sort of known each other forever. It's quite amazing to me. So it's a brilliant atmosphere, I must say. The food's been amazing. I think the chef wanted to keep it a camping theme. It's properly delicious. The whole thing is delicious. Absolutely everything he's done has been unique, innovative, and fabulous.
It's so remote and you're so entrenched in nature and you feel you're just away from everything. So it's an escape from typical day-to-day life. I was lucky enough to be here when they were about to open, and I brought my kids and then had a night away with my wife. And then I host retreats here as well. So we do some incredible work with people. It just lends itself to perspective and getting away and just a breath of fresh air.
I think tonight has actually been electric. People have responded so amazingly. The food has been delicious. The entertainment, it's been amazing.
Yeah, great vibe. I see everybody's very happy and just make me happy.
I think we'd love to host more occasions like this. We'd like to come together and see our little camp grow from strength to strength, actually.
Amy and Tull have seen their business reborn through a focus on local tourism, and everybody is winning in the deal. Coming up, how South Africa gets such a kick out of US YouTube star Mansa Mayne reacting to our culture.
Sponsored by Capitec.
Escaping the familiar and opening up to what floats other people's boats, this is the life of YouTuber Mansa Mayne. His reaction videos have earned him 570,000 subscribers and quite a career.
Yo, what's good, the Insider SA? It's your boy Mansa. Welcome to Mikasa. So growing up, my family moved a lot. I went from house to house because my mom moved a lot. Like she had different jobs and things like that. I didn't stay in one school very long, like until high school. But I moved from Kentucky to Indiana, from Indiana back to Kentucky. It was definitely a hard time of trying to like make friends, like keep the same, you know what I'm saying, friends. So I was really like kind of on my own, but I wasn't.
The one constant was basketball, and for a while it looked like Mansa might make it a profession.
Throughout my whole basketball career, from elementary when I first started all the way up to high school, I was very competitive. Like basketball was my sport. Basketball. Like I would have basketball practice, come home, play basketball, go in, watch basketball on TV. Like it was life. Basketball was life. And then I decided, you know what, I really like being in the weight room. I like this atmosphere. I like this feeling of feeling healthy and feeling really good about my body. So I continued that, and then that kind of put in my mindset, maybe I can help others feel the same way. So I started doing personal training. Through all these experiences, like, you know, just meeting new people and having to be around people has helped me today for sure.
Mr. Mayne's best career counselor turned out to be his sibling, who took one look at online influencing and saw a gap for her brother.
So what really pushed me into digital content creation was my sister. She watched a lot of YouTube, and she always told me like, yo, you should do YouTube, you should do this, you should do that. So yeah, so I just decided to try it. And once I tried it, like, I fell in love with it. Like, you know what I mean? Like it was a passion. It became another passion for me. And I felt like this is where I needed to be. So I continued with it.
Around 2019, Mansa swore to his subscribers, who call themselves maniacs, that he would travel to South Africa. And he was true to his word.
What made me relocate to South Africa is my experience when I was here in December. I enjoyed it so much, but in December, it was more partying. It was more just the fun of things and experiencing things. So I was like, this time I need to come back. I want to come back and really connect with people and invest and possibly like own things here, you know what I mean? So that's what motivated me to come back, to build those connections. Since most of my audience is here, I feel like there's a lot of opportunity for me to keep building here and to one day be able to bring my family here and let them experience the things that I've been experiencing.
The man's bond with local fans was sealed the day Nasty C came to his attention.
I react to American music, United Kingdom music, and someone came along and asked me to react to Nasty C. So I decided to check out Nasty C, react to his music. First song was Nasty C Jungle was the song. So I reacted to him, and yeah, like South Africa just flooded my channel with requests, like check out this, check out that. When I was going into it, I didn't know that he was gonna be speaking English. I knew nothing about South Africa. Once I played it, once I started reacting to it, I was like, yo, it kind of sounds American. It kind of, you know what I'm saying? He was speaking English. I was like, yo, this is fire. It was like, okay, this is my audience. Like, I can't just not make content for my audience. So I just kept making content, falling in love with the culture, learning more about the culture and things like that.
South African fans loved it and soon gave Mansa their own Sotho name, Tsepo, representing trust and hope.
Through my reactions and things like that, I was reacting to a lot of South African hip hop. And then someone requested me to check out Amapiano. So I decided to check it out. I think the artist was Kabzade Small. But this was a time where like Amapiano was not the Amapiano it is today. Like it was very long. The songs was very long. It didn't have no words. It was mostly just the beat. And then it kept evolving and evolving. Through seeing it evolve, I think is what's really drawn me, like has made me love the genre so much, because I've seen it from this to this now. So the more I've seen Amapiano grow, the more that I've found that love for the genre. I started doing YouTube about 2 or 3 years back. I used to have dreadlocks, so like every couple weeks, I used to update videos on my hair and like the growth and things like that. And YouTube became like a passion with like, once I started to gain an audience, they started to follow my hair journey, and then they started recommending me to do other videos.
Keeping our American friend looking sharp while he's here has become the responsibility of Trey the barber.
All right, so yeah, today, my hairstyle, I decided to go with the blonde. I usually have black, but I wanted to try something different while I was out here. I've never dyed my hair this short before, like while it was this short. So I went with the blonde, and I had the black on the side, so I wanted to sprinkle into some black. So yeah, I believe grooming is really important for business opportunities, and even definitely if you're in the social media space as well. If you're creating content, if you're in front of the camera, you need to have a good look. You need to make sure you're presenting yourself not only like a professional way, but you want to make sure that your audience knows that you take care of yourself.
This chair has hosted the A-list of our African hip-hop scene, and now Mr. Mayne's too.
I met Mansa last year during lockdown while he was here in SA to just like explore and see everything through Tsepo. Tsepo is one of my cousins. We had a good time with Mansa. I guess that's why you ended up like being here again, because it got so comfortable to cut with me. With Mansa's hairstyle, just keeping it simple, keeping the waves clean, and then the color, the blonde, you know it's already on spring. And then also to just keep the beard clean all the time. I actually started cutting hair while I was still in grade 4, cutting my siblings and my friends, just like to get the skills right. I haven't got to this point because I guess I'm like passionate about cutting hair, everything that I'm doing, and the customer service as well. Throughout that, I even met some of the celebs, which I can mention Casper and Black Coffee. I think a lot of people are coming through here also, just because of the service that I give, and then how I treat my clients, and also the cuts that I give. It's all the freshest cuts I can say we have here in the city. And also having these celebs and influencers also, it's also pushed me to just like be this established.
When your customers pack 500,000 YouTube subscribers, marketing takes care of itself, and Mansa's happy to spread the word.
South Africa has been great, man. It's been a really good experience. Just my time in Cape Town. I've been to a lot of different places as well, not just here in Sandton. I've been to Cape Town, I've been to Durban, I've been to Limpopo, and of course here in Sandton, I've been to Soweto. Like, I've been all over, man. I've been all over and experienced a lot of different cultures, a lot of different, just a lot of different things, different views, different people. Like, it's just been a really, really good experience since I've been out here, because like everywhere I went, I had to make new friends. So I think that's made it easier for me now to just go to another country and just meet new people, just because of how I grew up and how I've had to meet new people all the time. So I think that those experiences of growing up in Kentucky and Indiana and doing all that moving has helped me and who I became today.
In Mansa Mayne's case, being mindful is about stepping into someone else's world to share what moves them. As it turns out, curiosity has been pretty kind to this cat. Just ahead, for energy solutions from the ancients, we learn how packed stone walls act like giant batteries. As South Africans become mindful of every energy, water and food choice we make, Cobus van Wyk and Ruan van der Venter have seized the moment.
Welcome to Suidstar in the Klein Karoo in the Langeberg Mountains of the Western Cape. We looked quite extensively at loads of places around Southern Africa and South Africa, and this place popped up. We just grabbed it with both hands. We wanted to be in charge of our own lives in the sense of having our own water, having our own electricity, having our own firewood, those kind of things that you can't really have in the city.
To make it happen, Cobus and Ruan turned to a specialist local architect, Etienne Brits.
The brief to Etienne was to have a one-bedroom house with a footprint not bigger than the house we had in the UK. That was the big thing, as well as to kind of melt away within the surrounding mountains. We gathered all the stone to actually build this house with a really thick north-facing wall to keep the house warm in winter and cool in summer.
The stone walls function as a natural energy reservoir or battery, retaining heat or cool for hours. Smart design to be sure.
I'm Etienne Brits. I'm an architect interested in natural materials and context site-specific designs. Generally, my designs look at massing as a tool for energy efficiency within buildings, using stone and brick building with thick walls, allowing for energy to be stored within those walls as the sun heats them up. And then that heat and energy gets transferred into the house on the colder evenings, warming the place, and then also the massing of the walls keep the place cooler during the hot summer months. To keep the elements clear from each other, nothing really touches within the house. So the stone wall that you can see here, that is an expression of the outside material, is visible inside the house, but then where the white boxes meet, it's cut loose. So there's a slot running throughout the house that separates the stonework from the brickwork.
It's a discovery of old energy wisdom which does not rely on new technology and runs the length of the house.
These 3 cottages that we placed in a row, they became the main body of the house. And then to tie all of that together, we used the traditional stone wall built in the traditional way that you would see in the Barrydale area. To address the problem or the challenge of the slope of the site and to tie that in with the client's request to have the house as one space, the house steps down and opens up like a telescope as you move down the slope, with the ceiling staying at one level, focusing your view out towards the mountains.
Whether you're running the 5-kilometer trail the guys have laid out through landscape or just taking the sights in like framed paintings, the design has you feeling you have it all to yourself.
Kobus and Rowan wanted a big open space, but to give some privacy, each white box houses a different function within the house: the bathroom, the bedroom, the foyer, the kitchen and dining room, and the living room, and they're all connected through this passage that runs all the way along. So that creates this access through the house with the Karoo landscape on both sides, and this house opens up along the slope towards the mountains.
Life centers around food here, and whether you're cooking or eating, it always feels like you're doing it in the great outdoors.
To create more space in the kitchen, we created a cutout in the massive stone wall, and that's where all our services run all the way along the wall. And this creates a very nice space for the kitchen. We've got enough space for a massive island and then for the dining room on that side.
After 16 years living in the cool weather of the British Isles, the simple climate-altering genius of greenhouse technology is one which Kobus has learned to make the most of.
This is my greenhouse. We grow all sorts of leafy greens that will struggle growing outside. We have all these boxes raised and on wheels, so we can easily move them around depending on season. Some of these leafy greens and salads prefer a lot more shade, and we'll move it back of the greenhouse when it's too warm, and in winter we'll move it a bit forward towards the door where there's a lot more sunshine. As you can see, we have a lot of rocket, broccoli, sprouts, baby leaf spinach. We've got an avocado, a mango, and also this banana tree. In this box we have our strawberries. They do yield some awesome strawberries. In this box I have my small leaf spinach, and in this box I have my romaine lettuce.
Beyond growing what he eats, this is fine therapy for the man with the green fingers.
Gardening has always been a big passion of mine. It's something that I find very relaxing and meditative, and something you can enjoy on your own or with other people.
Resisting the convenience of a visit to the supermarket, to fully sustain yourself out here, you have to be mindful of the seasons and work with them.
This all used to be veld and fynbos, so I decided to build some terraces with my raised beds. Currently I only have garlic that's almost ready for harvest, and then some peas that I'm already harvesting, and I'm waiting for spring to kick in before I can actually grow all the other vegetables that I have for summer.
Though they could have kept the glory of these 110 acres for themselves, Ruan and Querbus built guest cabins, which a top local designer has made the most of.
The first thing that I really wanted to incorporate was the name of the place, which is Suidster, translating to Southern Star. A big inspiration was the environment we find ourselves in, being quite a dry and arid place, and bringing that into the interior, especially through furniture details and color choices. So because the space is a single rectangular shape, I really wanted to, from the start, not have any internal walls or barriers that demarcate certain areas. So the whole space is one open living area that incorporates the kitchen, the lounge, a dining area, as well as the bedroom and bathroom. So each kind of replicating that whole directional design of north, east, south, and west, where each space has a specific view that it looks out towards, and obviously has like its function within the larger space of the cabin. Because it's an open plan space, the use of certain materials like the natural oak that you see in some of the joinery is really important in kind of linking the whole space together and creating that thread of symmetry that just merges all the elements. And that's also seen through other details like the soft curtaining, which kind of softens each area, as well as steel details that brings that edgy and modern feel into the space.
The feel of the ironclad barn-like structures evokes cottages in the rugged Scottish Highlands, which the owners loved escaping to. So the atmosphere inside had to be one of seclusion and self-reliance. A perfect rental if you have that book to write or just need time out with your thoughts.
The lounge in the bedroom sits in the center of the cabin, and it's basically divided by this wooden headboard structure, which becomes the headboard for the bed, but then also the back panel for the couch itself. And it allows privacy within the space by demarcating the area, yet still being quite open plan and free-flowing. The use of the natural oak once again brings in that warmth and like relaxed element into the interior, while the freestanding floor lamps that we actually used in a bedside application obviously becomes quite multifunctional again, where it serves both the bed and the lounge side with accent lighting.
Out here, the flatness stimulates the mind and the mountains excite the emotions. And that soul of the landscape is reflected in Hendre's choice of rust-colored interiors, inspired by the rock formations around the guest houses. The Victorian bath and fitting add a sense of the area's long history within a modern design.
An important element within the design was to create a sense of luxury when it came to the bathroom of the cabin. So we've got a his and hers vanity, plus a full shower, bathtub, and a separate toilet to the side. And again, privacy is created within the open plan space quite subtly through the use of curtaining that basically closes off the bath and the shower from the living spaces.
That said, the ultimate bath is a soak in the wood-fired tub under Karoo night skies. As for the owner, his happy place is making the most of what he's grown in that garden.
I've always liked cooking, especially for other people. It's been a passion of mine for many, many years. And it's something I grew up with, especially with my father and my mother. Our house was designed around the kitchen. That was one of the main briefs that we gave to Etienne. He basically made everything work, and everything was planned around the flow of the kitchen, where the cabinets are going to be, where the island's going to be, where the chairs are going to be. Even with the folding doors opening to the outside, it was very important for us to be able to open all these doors, especially in summer, while you have a braai and have people coming and going, and just have an extended kitchen basically, and just to share the space with other people and share our passion for good food and good cooking and healthy food and fresh food with other people.
What Querbus is also inviting us to do is be mindful of how we can sustain ourselves, live off the grid, from the land and recognize how better to tap into renewable living. Right after this, Chef Zola Nene dishes up seasonal delights from her new cookbook, plus the recipe for an awesome foot rub. The winelands are where Chef Zola Nene cut her teeth as a young culinary talent. Between cooking for top eateries from Stellenbosch to Franschhoek, she witnessed the evolution of arguably the country's most renowned vegetable and herb garden. One that's made her ever mindful of the value in organic ingredients.
I'm Zola Nene. I'm a chef, a food stylist, a cookbook author, and a lover of all things food. And today I'm so excited to be at one of my favorite places in the world, Babylon's Turin. I love coming here. I love the seasonality. I love that you can pick and see and smell all the fresh produce. It's a place of inspiration for me, so I'm really excited to pick some veggies, maybe some Swiss chard, maybe a bit of coriander, carrots, beetroot, to make something really delicious.
Every variety of plant in the garden is edible or has medicinal value. They are also grown as organically and sustainably as possible by a team that includes gardener and floral artist Constance Stearman.
So the layout of this garden has been done by a gentleman of the name of Patrice Taravelle. It took him almost a year to do the layout and the clean out of this garden. Now, when he was done, we had to find somebody that can do organic method of planting. And we found a lady by the name of Gundula Deutschlander to do the planting of this beautiful space, which is 3.5 hectares. And it's a historical garden where we have over 300 different varieties of fruit, vegetables, and herbs that's been planted within one space.
I've always been a lover of food. I think that that's because I grew up eating really well. I mean, my mom is a fabulous cook. My maternal grandmother was an amazing cook. So, I grew up eating really well at family functions, actually in my own home as well. My mom always made sure Sunday lunches were very special. So I think that my love for food comes from that side of my family. And I think that being passionate about feeding people, I think that that's my love language as well. So I think that that's also why I got into food and why it's become my career.
New to Chef Nene is how ingredients she typically cook with can also be combined into the most luxurious skin treatments. It's Nadine Africa's speciality.
Good day, Zola.
Hello.
So I'm Nadine, and I will be assisting you in making a hand and a foot scrub. So we'll start with Himalayan salt. So you can take 1 spoon, and then we're also going to use 2 scoops of brown sugar. So all of these ingredients that we use, they're all natural preservatives, which means it doesn't have an expiry date, so you can just keep it at normal room temperature.
Okay, perfect.
The next ingredients, we're only going to use 1 spoon of each, so we'll start with rooibos tea. Rooibos tea is high in antioxidants. Then we also use poppy seeds, and poppy seeds is great for that extra scrub feeling, and also some cinnamon, and cinnamon is anti-inflammatory.
This is amazing. This is literally like baking. I love it.
And lastly, some charcoal, and charcoal is for detox.
Ooh.
And now we're adding some grapeseed oil, and grapeseed oil is for moisture. So you can start mixing now.
Okay. Oh, I can feel the texture.
I was going to add some honey, raw unfiltered honey, and that is to bind everything together, and it's also antiseptic.
Lovely. Oh, so this is actually edible.
Yeah.
If I really wanted to eat it.
Everything you have in your kitchen. And now for our last ingredient, one of our essential oils. So we have lavender. Lavender is very relaxing, very soothing and calming. Then we also got rosemary. Rosemary stimulates the brain, and it's also believed as to cure sinuses and flus.
Well, it looks amazing and it smells even better.
Yes, divine. So now we'll be scooping it in here.
I had so much fun creating this scrub. I spent a lot of time in the kitchen. This was out of the kitchen, but still familiar because, we were mixing up some things. And you know what? Self-care is so important. So this scrub is going to do me a world of good.
Which is what Zola aims to do for others from her own kitchen and since she first gained television fame as Expresso's resident chef.
Welcome to my kitchen. This is my happy place. This is where I cook, I listen to music, I do everything. It is literally the place I spend more time than anywhere else. Cooking is definitely my love language, and I love to cook for my family, for my friends.
After winning Best in the World for her last cookbook, Simply Zola, Chef has a follow-up.
So Simply 7 Colors is very different from Simply Delicious, which was my first book, and Simply Zola, which is my second book. These food stories are my family's food stories that sort of have carried on throughout the generations, so they've changed a little bit. This one is dedicated to my new little niece, Emily. So all my books are dedicated to different members of my family, actually. So the first one was my family that existed as a whole then. Then my second one was my nephew, Toby. This is dedicated to Emily, and hopefully when she gets much older, because she has no idea that there's a book dedicated to her at this very moment. I mean, she's like 8 months old. But hopefully she'll find it really special. And the idea is that my niece and nephew feel connected to the book so that they carry on the food traditions. That's the whole point. Even long after I'm gone, they can pick up the book and go, you know, my aunt thought of me in this moment and she wrote these recipes, and let me cook something by her and remember her. So yeah. So I'm gonna make one recipe, but the entire idea around the book is to pick from different chapters. So it's chaptered in colors, because 7 colors. So the idea is to choose a dish from each color, put it together to create the 7 color plate or Sunday plate or colorful plate. So today I'm gonna share my recipe for my Zola's Feast spiced spinach and mushrooms.
The asparagus weren't part of the recipe, but given the option of fresh, organic asparagus from the garden, Chef took it.
So first we're going to start with some mushrooms. I'm using brown mushrooms, but you could use button mushrooms or any mushrooms you have. And then, of course, some beautiful Swiss chard that we picked at Babylon's Turin. I love these red stalks, so I'm going to use them. You could use a red pepper as well. And then chop up the leaves really chunky, but keep the stalks really fine. And then I'm going to use some of my Zola's Feast spice to flavor it all up. It's a very simple recipe. Remember, this is one of the components of your delicious 7-color plate. You know, for me, the reason why all my book titles have the word simply in them is because I'm really serious about simplifying food for everybody, because food needs to be accessible and doable by everyone. So I always try to simplify my recipes so that people who aren't comfortable can at least try them and, you know, come up with a good result. But as always, with everything, practice makes perfect. So just get in there, get stuck in. Yes, you'll make mistakes. I make mistakes all the time, and I'm professionally trained. My mom cooks with feeling, and I think that that's always something she's always stressed when I'm like, oh, teach me how to make this. And she's like, no, don't write it down. Just look at how it looks, smell how it smells, see how it feels. So I love cooking like that. I think that the origin of many traditional recipes are like that. So cooking from the heart is definitely a tip that I take from my mom. And there it is, our Simply 7-color plate. Okay, I know what you're gonna say. They're not 7 colors. It's not about the number. It's about the look, guys. It's about vibrancy. 3 colors, 4 colors, 5 colors, 7 colors. It all counts. Enjoy.
Renowned for her baking, Zola has judged 3 seasons of the Taste Master essay. The last 2 focused on baking, with last year's series winning a SAFTA award for Best Competition Reality Show.
It is super exciting to be part of a SAFTA award-winning show, the Taste Master one. I'm so proud of the team. It's so cool to be part of a team that's put together a show that's gotten recognized. I absolutely love the show. I love being a judge on the show. You plant a seed in somebody's mind and the way, the direction that it goes. And, you know, I love seeing that. I love getting inside somebody's mind and seeing their personality shine through their food. I think that that for me is so fulfilling. I love meeting new talent and being part of their stepping stone into their future in cooking. So, yay us!
Chef Nene remains mindful that every award-winning cookbook she releases and TV show she stars in fires the resolve of the young Zolas out there looking to make their break. Still to come, one mum's plan to keep her young son healthy is getting a generation of kids back outdoors.
Sponsored by Capitec.
Educated at a school which championed outdoor living and imaginative play, designer Tessa Graham has turned those ideas into a new line of South African-made toys. With sales on the up at home and abroad, we met the mother and her son Sam behind this story of challenge and hope.
Hi, I'm Tessa Graham and this is Sam. Welcome to our home and the studio of EnviroKid. Sam is just over 3. He was born in 2019, just before the pandemic. It's been quite a journey. I think I always assumed parenting was something that would come to me naturally and I was going to be this great mom, and it was something I dreamt about for many years. And yeah, it was really, really tough those first few months. He was very underweight, he didn't want to eat, he didn't want to sleep, and at about 6 months he ended up in hospital with dehydration, and at that point they did some tests on Sam and they came back with, after doing a sweat test, that he has cystic fibrosis. To get a diagnosis like that when you have such a small baby was quite a shell shock, and took me quite a while to just get my head around what life would mean for us now and then the new journey we were going to be on.
Sam's joyful nature contrasts with the seriousness of his condition, but his mom has designed wonderful ways to encourage a healthy lifestyle for him.
Cystic fibrosis is a genetic disorder, so both my husband and I are carriers. We both didn't know that we were, and it's a gene mutation, so his body doesn't function properly. The biggest issues are digestively. He cannot absorb protein or fats without medication, so every day he takes a handful of tablets to absorb meals. And then the biggest worry is his lungs are filled with a thick, sticky mucus that over time damages his lungs, but also bacteria can grow in the environment. But we've been so lucky. Sam has done really, really well. He's still got 100% lung function and he hasn't had any more hospital stays yet. But it is something that we know will happen eventually. And we're just going with this journey and giving him the best childhood that we can and just being there involved with him. It's really important for children with cystic fibrosis to be physically active to keep their lungs clear and healthy. And so I think that's been a big part of the influence for my toys to keep Sam outdoors.
Although the demands on Tessa's time of caring for her son's condition meant putting her career to one side, with her positive attitude, this new door opened.
EnviroKid is a children's toy brand that focuses on creative, imaginative outdoor play in getting children to engage with nature and raw materials. So we try to use environmentally conscious materials, leathers, stainless steels, wood. And then the most important thing is actually making toys that are made to last, toys that can be handed down to siblings or even generations, but actually good quality toys that also offer an educational purpose.
Every activity is a problem to solve, posing questions, allowing discovery, and instilling a sense of curiosity and reward in children.
During lockdown, we weren't able to have a proper first birthday for Sam, and we saw an opportunity thinking of all the children that were missing out on birthdays. And my sister and I, we had a little service that we were delivering gifts to children for their birthdays, and we realized that there was just a shortage of locally made products. And it was just such a gap in the market, and I just realized that it's something I love. I love children, I love being creative, I love being outdoors, and yeah, that's really where EnviroKid was born.
Having studied industrial design, Tessa first sketches each toy, chooses materials, renders it in 3D, makes the prototype, and designs the artwork and packaging.
The first product I made was a little bug box, and I think it just took me back to my childhood, being outdoors and finding interesting little creatures that you can observe and engage with for a little bit and then return them back to the garden. And we started with the wood and the printing on the wood and stainless steel mesh and leather finishing. And I just really loved the way it all came together. And once I saw that product, then it was how to develop more products that fell into the same range. And the next product was a flower press. And I think both of those take most adults back to nostalgia of their childhood, of engaging with a flower press or a bug box.
Tessa's childhood spent sailing lent her a fascination with ropes and knots, and it's one which runs in the family.
The Third product actually came from my nephew. As a child, his favorite toy was just ropes and pulleys and carabiner clips. And so we developed a product where they got ropes, a little knot book that teaches them how to do different knots, and just getting them to play outside.
It took Tessa and her father, James Rod, a year to create the most iconic of toys.
The fourth one was our cable car, getting children to learn how to tie the knots, how to set it up, seeing how a pulley mechanism works, and then just letting them play with it in their own way.
Supporting this woman all the way have been her father, her husband Charles, and her financial partner.
I chose to bank with Capitec about 10 years ago initially. I am quite a money conscious person, so I always check all the numbers, and I did all the calculations, and I realized that it was a lot cheaper to go with a transactional bank account with a low monthly fee. As a small business, I like to keep my costs low because every little bit is going into the build-up, and it's been really great having a Capitec account to start with because you don't pay this big amount at the beginning of the month. When your transactions are still quite low, you are just paying per individual transactions, and that makes a big difference for a small business. I definitely think mobile banking on the Capitec app is so easy to use that when I'm on the go and needing to make payments quickly to different suppliers, I'm able to do it so easily on the phone. And doing cash sends, everything's just been really easy to work with them. I haven't had any issues at all, so I've been really happy using Capitec.
Young Sam can rightly be proud of his mom, who was approached by the watershed at the V&A waterfront wanting to stock her locally made toys. It's one among many outlets now interested.
Our products have been received really well in all of our stockists, but it's been really nice to see how well they've been received in person here at the waterfront and to be getting a response from customers firsthand, and just seeing how excited they are to take home products to their loved ones abroad.
The most popular one is the cable car kit. They find it interesting because this is the one that is used on the Table Mountain. And when they go back, they will tell the children the story of the Table Mountain and the cable car kit.
I hope EnviroKid inspires creativity in children around the world and encourages them to get outdoors and engage more with nature and just be more active.
Where life saw Tessa need to set her career to one side, a new journey has allowed her to express the full range of her skills. If you have a plan to live better and work more creatively, tell us about it to stand a chance of winning R1,000. Simply reply to the competition post on the Insider SA social media platforms using #CapitecLiveBetter. T's and C's apply and can be found on the Insider SA website. Get more of the Insider SA online. Follow, connect, engage, and be inspired to live better with the Insider SA. Watch the show Monday evenings at 6. Repeat Saturday at 1 on S3.